And hello once again, Josh Stone here with Renee Parker with Sky Sports Podcast on Point. JV Miller joining us again from Las Vegas with ProfessionalGambler.com. Hello, JV. Thanks for being with us again.
Thank you for having me.
We love it when you come on. You've got such great information.
Thank you.
Always. I've got some things I've been wanting to talk to you about myself.
Anytime.
Congratulations on your baseball, JV. We've been tracking you. You're over 58% against the spread against Major League Baseball. Tell us, what are you doing over there?
It's just a winning streak. We're not doing anything any different than any other time. We win over 55% long-term against the spread at 11 to win 10 odds. The last few weeks, we are doing a lot better than normal odds. We are winning at plus 108 on our money lines on baseball, calculated at normal odds, apples to apples. That really puts our winning percentage around 70%. Now, again, this is not sustainable. We're not saying we win 70% all the time. Nobody does. But there are things happening right now that are helping to catapult our profit margin upward this season more than others. So it's exciting. Good stuff.
Now, you were on the Rockies every day last week. I'm looking at your picks right now. Great early call on that. Nobody else was on the Rockies. What did you see in the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah, we picked Colorado to beat the Indians twice, which they did. I picked them to beat the Cubs 4 times in Chicago, which they won 3 times. These are all big underdog money lines. Several of our math models picked up on the Rockies' strength about a week before they broke into this winning string. And what I saw forming was a real well-rounded team. You know, they demonstrated a lot of strength and diversity, winning many different ways. Just look at Friday's win against the Cubs. It was unlike any of their other victories. Marquez, the starting pitcher, got pulled in the 3rd inning, and the Rockies bullpen and closer Greg Holland held the Cubs to 1 run for the rest of the game. 4 of the 5 Colorado runs came on a pair of 2-run homers by Ryan Hannigan and Charlie Blackmon. Their talent is real spread out, and for this reason, they can absorb a lot of different things, and I like that in a bet and in a team. I like to bet against the Indians and the Cubs, as you know, because the value is so extraordinary. So many recreational bettors just obliviously bet on these teams no matter what, like they've got more money than sense. Whenever I see a situation where one of them might lose, you're looking at a situation with a lot of money. One of my favorite Bob McCune sayings is about bettors who bet on their favorite teams. There once was a player named Ted who bet with his heart instead of his head. They found old Ted dead on top of his bed. He finally covered the spread. I would say to everyone out there, if you're trying to do this professionally, if your goal is to make money, then it's a really bad idea to get advice from someone who's going to tell you what you want to hear. And that unfortunately describes most people who sell picks. So, be careful who you do business with. Do your homework on folks.
54.1% is a percentage that you have determined is the winning percentage sports bettors need to double their money in 1 year. It's a fascinating thing that you've come up with. Explain this magic number of 54.1%.
Well, first of all, we bet 2% of our bankroll per bet. We bet the same on every bet. We flat bet. We bet 1,500 bets per year. So if you win 54.1%, that's doable. It's harder than it sounds, but we can do this. That's 812 wins. Well, that means the bookmaker gives you back your 812 wins plus your winnings from that, which minus the VIG would be 739 units. We can do the math on that later. But you add those together, that's 1,551 units. You started with 1,500, so that's 51 units profit. How much is a unit? 2%. So that's 102% ROI. Just from 54.1% winning percentage. And you can imagine how much our subscribers are making right now, factoring in 60 to 70% winning percentage. It gets up there. But, it's not all about winning percentage. It also requires sound money management, finding good value, good deals on things. It requires flat betting, avoiding schemes like the star betting system and the Kelly criterion, avoiding teasers or complicated parlays. Value matters, getting the best VIG prices, not jiggling the size of your bets, etc. If all you want is a good winning percentage, you can just bet on the Dodgers every game and nobody else. You'd have 60% wins, but you'd be losing money. That's called bad value. That's the problem with focusing too much on winning percentage. It's profit that matters, and this is not a cop-out to downplay winning percentage. No one in the world has a higher winning percentage than me, but you've got to keep your money line wins a minus 110 or better if you want to keep your break even at 52.4%. With point spreads, you'll never see me pay more than minus 110. I'll never pay more than 11 to win 10. Never. You'll never see that.
Okay, we have some email here from David in Fort Worth, a podcast listener. He says, for Mr. Miller to boast and maintain about how very transparent and honest his service is, why isn't his service listed with a monitoring service?
We do have a monitoring service. It's called You and him and everyone in the world with an internet connection. We have a Track Us page on our website where we post all of our plays every single day, and we leave them up for a while. This far surpasses the need for a monitoring service, or in the transparency department, nothing beats this. A monitoring, well, here's how you use our Track Us page. You go to professionalgambler.com and you click Track Us. There's no joining, no signing up, no logging in. There's no annoying pop-ups or advertising, because we accept no money from sports books, and we have no advertising anywhere on our material. Our website is blazing fast. It takes you just a second to go see exactly what our picks were and how we're doing. A monitoring service is just another expense that bettors don't need. And are we supposed to think that these so-called monitoring services are some sort of arm's length consumer watchdogs? Hardly. They're run by the same people who run everything else that's gambling oriented on the internet. Different storefront, but same business model of siphoning more money off people with no recognizable benefit in return. No thanks. If people want to talk about transparency, let's talk about doing it our way. Post your picks on your website. Do a monitoring service too if you want, but what's most important is that you stand behind your picks and you put them on your website. And so consider this a challenge to all the handicapping services out there to post your picks on your sites. Our system is not full of gimmicks and moving parts. It's not real exciting, but it's a real system. Our subscribers, they make money off our system. It's real. We flat bet, we pay reasonable prices, and we post it all every day, so there are no secrets. And when you post all your plays like we do, you eliminate all kinds of scandalous stuff, like selling both sides of plays, all the stuff that we worry about when we deal with sports handicappers. Everyone should just do the right thing, man up, post your plays like we do, and if not, what are they hiding? Who knows, but I can assure you it's not a winning percentage. People who win, like us, we like to put our picks out there.
JV, one of our themes lately has been building a handicapping system from scratch with our podcast listeners, and we're basing it on three things: that you need a power ranking system, an injury report, and some type of home and away team type of ranking. We're calling it home field advantage. We've had some guests who've come on to talk about the first two. Can you elaborate for our listeners about home field advantage? Just talk about home field advantage for a minute.
For NFL?
Yes, sir, for NFL.
Well, crowds influence players, the noise made by home fans. Travel is tough on players, adjusting to time zone shifts and sleeping away from home. These are young men, they have young families. The discomfort of being on and off airplanes and in and out of airports. Even though the NFL, they travel with top-notch accommodations, any travel can disrupt a player's rhythm and cause them to underperform. One thing we forget about: officials. Referees are extremely biased in favor of home teams. You hear the expression, "Are you blind, ref?" Well, in a sense, yes, they are. There are a lot of really good edges with home field advantage, of course. And what I would recommend is find some quirks and exploit them, like the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 6-2 at home last season, but 1-7 on the road. You should be able to do something with that.
In Bob McCune's books, he talks about a field condition. Is that the same thing as a home field advantage?
No, field condition is a component of home field advantage. It refers to the condition of the field.
Can you elaborate on that, JV? Because I don't know how to answer this, and maybe you could just tell us what teams are good and bad, so we can get through that part of the book.
But we're referring to the actual surface of the field, the quality. Generally speaking, real grass fields are the best in NFL. Be careful how you translate this down, though, because best for whom, Teams that play all the time on a grass field are bound to do especially poorly on the road, right? To play a team on artificial turf, it's hard enough as it is, but to have no familiarity with it, it would be extra hard. Teams with real grass in the NFL, I'm sure you could Google that. Off the top of my head, the teams that I know have real grass would be Kansas, Carolina, Jacksonville, Washington, Cleveland, Houston, Tennessee, Denver, Chicago, did I say Miami?
There's a lot of talk about teasers. JV, will you explain what teasers are?
Teasers are ripoffs, and don't bet teasers. They're evil. They're like parlay style bets. Just remember this when you're betting prop bets and parlay style bets, that while you have to win at least 2 or 3 or 4 games to win anything, the house only ever has to win one. All right, and they may make it look like it's a you can't lose scenario with say you have 7 points to move around in the point spread. Don't fall for any of it. Just don't even pay attention to it. They stack these things full of little sneak punches like ties lose. Normally a tie is a push, so just one tie on any of the games makes them all lose because they're all conditioned on each other winning. The payouts are phrased 6-4-1, 11-4-1. Usually it's 6-1, 11-2-1 in gambling. 6-1 means you get your one back you wagered plus your six that you won. That's 7. 6-4-1, you just get 6 back. That's like 5-1 odds. So they're just crooked from ground up. Avoid teasers at all costs. You'll never win. It's never a winning proposition.
And how about pleasers? Are they called teaser pleasers? What are pleasers?
Oh, another scam gimmick bets that you just don't ever need to pay attention to pleasers. I think they only involve NFL bets. A pleaser is like a parlay. It's where the point spread is moved 7 points against the bettor. So the house essentially creates its own 14-point middle against the bettor. In exchange for those extremely unfavorable odds, a winning wager receives, a huge payout, but it's not realistic. I think a 3-team pleaser pays 240 to 1. A 10-team pleaser used to pay 50,000 to 1.
Last year, we talked about a guy named Tony who works here, who thought he was getting scammed capped, and you said that you thought Professor B was not using the right kind of math. We heard from the man who is Professor B just a little while ago, sent us an email. He asked us not to use his real name, but his email says it's to you. Mr. Miller, your criticism of regression to the mean in handicapping football is highly perplexing. You should at least admit your criticisms only apply to linear regression. To be as highly educated as you claim, you should know that OLS is not a new math concept. Rather, it was published in 1805.
Look, when people ask me questions, they don't want a math lesson. They just want to understand. I did not say that it was a new math concept. I said it was new to sports betting, and I'm fully aware of the history of Carl Goss, the father of the least squares method, and when it came about. Thank you. I don't remember all the details of the Professor B approach, but there was never a discussion of anything nonlinear. I know that, and what I recall seeing and discussing indicated non-random patterns of the residuals, which would indicate linear regression, and I don't believe that the elusive Professor B has a nonlinear approach for sports betting that works. Or a linear one as far as that goes. But I wish him all the luck in the world. We need breakthroughs, so good luck to him.
Tell us how to get in contact with you, JV, your Twitter address, all that.
My Twitter is at JVMillerSports. Our website is professionalgambler.com, and we're the oldest professional handicapping website in history, and we have a special right now. If you want to sign up for our NFL picks right now, you get all the summer picks for baseball for free. So you bet our MLB picks as is, and you just grow your bankroll while you wait for NFL to start. We have 90 pages of original content, and we handicap 365 days a year. So.
Well, thank you so much for being with us again, JV Miller.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure to be here.